All right, everybody, welcome back. Here we are. Guys, today, super important. We have got a very special guest, a good friend of mine, Mr. Stephen Cohen. Guys, when I was running Nationwide Property Liquidators and I was out there, doing deals all over the country, even before we started that, one of the biggest challenges that I had was figuring out how I was going to get into these properties all over the country, right? When I had started, we were just we were based right here in Chattanooga, Tennessee. So it was simple. I'd jump in my car, I'd run across town, I'd get some pictures, I'd get video, I'd get documents signed. I would do all of those things. But for real, I had this huge mental block of what am I going to do in Nebraska? What am I going to do in California? How am I going to do this? And we created this super elaborate thing that I thought was so great. We had training videos and papers and checklists, and we're trying to find people on Craigslist and Facebook Marketplace and all these things to go do pictures for us. And then I realized that there was, my God, a much simpler, easier way. And Stephen, I remember our first conversation. I was just like, you guys do all of that for that much money? What have I been doing beating my head against the wall? So super excited to have Steven on today. He is with a company called InvestorBootz. He is the owner. And dude, they have cracked the code. They have solved the problem. All of those things that I was worried about. Now my man Steven handles all of that. So Steven, give everybody just like a little intro on you, and then let's get right into it.
Yeah, hey guys, I am Steve Cohen, the owner of InvestorBootz. As you can probably imagine by now, we provide boots on the ground, nationwide, same-day service across the country.
Mm-hmm.
As I always say, we're the Uber, but for real estate.
Yeah.
And that's really how it works. We want to help our clients have speed as an advantage, and even help them buy back some of their time so they can have that time to focus on the critical tasks. And that's really what we do best, and what we're able to come in and do for companies.
Nice. So, guys, the thing that just really impressed me so much with what he does and his team over at InvestorBootz is the guys. They are the mobile part of your business. They are the part where you can just literally bolt them on in an as needed basis to go to Los Angeles and get photos and video of your properties. Because one of the most important parts of the dispositions process, if you're just getting new to this. You're getting started and you want to do virtual wholesaling, is in the dispo process, we need to provide all of the information possible to our buyers so that they can make a decision. Because a lot of times our buyers are virtual too. So imagine you've got a property in Orlando, Florida, but you're selling to a buyer in California, right? We want to be able to give them all of the information they could ever need to make a decision on that property from their sofa. Right. So what is the most important thing? Like, we could certainly pull all the information from Bachelor PropStream on square footage and beds and bath and the size of the lot and all of those things and what the taxes are. But what's the thing that they make the biggest part of their decision based off of? Pictures and video.
Yes.
Right. You've got to have quality pictures and video, because that's going to tell the story of what this property is. And again, I want to use somebody, I've got to do it. And I want to do it with as little aggravation as possible. So, Stephen, what does that look like for somebody who's maybe watching this for the first time, who's like, holy smokes, there's somebody that can do that for me. I don't need to be putting Facebook ads and Craigslist ads out there. Like, how does it work with you guys?
Yeah, you bring up a lot of good points here. First off, let me start with this. So there's an analogy I use. If you're an investor right now and you're not using InvestorBootz, you're basically operating your business with a screwdriver. All right, a manual crank screwdriver. When you hire InvestorBootz, we show up to town and we have the ultimate platinum titanium deluxe power drill. We have every drill bit imaginable, and we probably even have some drill bits you never even thought about using before. And that's really how I look at our service. But you bring up a lot of good points about getting assets to these buyers. And that is something that in 2025, we're really focusing on doing, which is we've moved to a bundled order model. So we have started bundling our packages and our offerings for our clients. We have our access bundles, our quantum bundles, our domination bundles. We have a deal accelerator bundle.
Love it.
The whole point behind this is to give our clients as many assets as possible to separate them from the competition. NAR recently reported that 99% of listings are photos only.
Yeah.
It's that 1% that wants to stand out with a video or 2D floor plan. And they also reported that listings that add a video get 403% more views than listings without a video. So that's what we do best. We're able to go in and bundle these services for our clients so that they're getting higher bids, they're getting way more offers than they've ever gotten before, and their buyers are able to make fast, confident decisions without having to step foot into these properties. Because as you mentioned, we're just overwhelming them with assets.
Yeah, I agree. There's, not just photos are important, but good photos, right? I can't tell you how many times I've looked at some type of listing and they're taking their pictures vertical instead
Yeah,
of horizontal. They look like they've just had fried chicken and the screen is greasy, or,
so
they
crazy.
don't, yeah, they don't understand what we're looking for because we just grab some handyman to run over and take those photos. But we want good pictures with our phone horizontal with the widest lens possible. I'm not interested in the one little scratch on the countertop. While that's important, I want to make sure that I'm getting all four sides of all the rooms and all the mechanicals. And I know that you guys have been doing this for a long time, and definitely have good processes and procedures for all the people that work for you to make sure these are getting done.
Yeah, our instructions are what I would say are bomb proof. We
Yeah.
tweak them anytime there's an incident that we want to prevent from happening again. I mean, we add a line item to the instructions. Our instructions
Mhm.
have to be signed by our field agents. There's checklists, there's sample photos. And after doing this for years, we've really made them to what I said we believe to be bomb proof. So they're able to go out and execute on these deals as quickly as possible, get you back the assets you need in the shortest amount of time possible. Because again, we're giving our clients speed as an advantage against the competition.
Mhm.
We want our clients to get their assets back before the competition's even got started trying to find boots on the ground.
Um, so let's jump into this a little bit. Kind of, let's go back a little bit. What even made you think to start something, this kind of business? Like what were you doing before, and how did that lead into where you're at now?
I came from a public service background. I worked for the local sheriff's department where I'm at for 10 years on it.
Really?
Yeah, I was on the helicopters doing search and rescue and handling medical calls.
Really? That's pretty
Yeah,
cool.
that led me to go to medic school, and I became a medic and a firefighter at that point, just on the outskirts of Los Angeles.
Mhm.
So my background in public service really helped me with camaraderie, communication, and
Mhm.
teamwork. I always had this entrepreneurial spirit, though. I wanted to be a business owner. I wanted to make my own
Yeah.
hours. I wanted to be financially free, and I always loved real estate. When I started looking into the industry and I came across wholesaling, I thought it was such a brilliant business model.
Mhm.
No money had to exchange hands,
Yeah.
and I loved the idea about it. And my friends and I started a company originally, and we had handpicked everybody on our team. I mean, from top to bottom: attorney, CPA, acquisitions, dispositions, TC. I mean, everybody just put their blood, sweat, and tears into it for us because they were family and they were our friends. But the common denominator in every single one of these transactions was that it was always coming down to this one random person that we never met before that
Yeah.
could freaking make or break the deal for us.
Yeah.
This was the person we were having to find on Google or Craigslist or going to Facebook message boards to go out and get photos, just set up a lockbox, get a video, and if they wouldn't show up or if they canceled or if they're late and it pissed off the seller, this
Mhm.
random person would literally blow the deal for us. And like I said, everybody on my team was just kicking ass and doing the best job possible. And that's when we started doing research into figuring out, okay, who is it that does this service? And there's absolutely nobody in the industry that was able to provide this service on a nationwide scale, quickly, efficiently. And that's when we kind of shifted gears there and got involved in this.
I love it because, it's as the wholesaler, and we again ran nationwide property liquidators. We're one of the biggest wholesaling operations in the country. And I wish I had this at the time. But yeah, it takes so much work. I had somebody whose job was just finding people to go take pictures and video. Like it was, they did that and one other thing, like, but that was a huge part of their job because it was so important to our business. And we would get 20 people who say they would do this, and then we got to follow up with them, and then make sure that we can get them into the property, and then they go in and take 8 pictures, and they're crappy pictures, and then you got to start the whole process all over
There,
again. And right.
there's no way to hold them accountable. It's the
Exactly.
amount of time too. And like you said, you had somebody on your team dedicated to do this. We onboarded a company last month who had 5 people. They were babysitters, David. They
I
were
believe it.
project managers.
Yeah.
Their only job was to literally locate, vet, hire, schedule all
I
the
believe
remote help in all the various states and all the different
it.
states they were in,
Mhm.
set them up, project manage them, confirm on the day of the appointment. And then they were handling all the fires that would come in. If somebody ghosted them, if somebody didn't show up, somebody had to cancel, if somebody was running late. It was literally a full team of 5 people. They
Yeah.
hired my company and they were gone in an instant. They were able to divert those people into more critical roles within the company because we've completely streamlined and simplified all of those processes right there.
Yeah, I mean, guys, the amount of time that I was spending in my business to do this was absolutely insane. And the one thing about this industry, and this is kind of that common theme of the people that I bring on to talk to you, is we're trying to scale our business. We're all trying to grow. And the difference between today and when Steven started, when I started in this business, like you don't have to have all these people in your office and on your team. Now there are amazing companies like his that do pictures and video, and we'll talk about all the other stuff they'll do too. But there are great people that can run, pay-per-click Google advertising for you. Obviously, there's a great TC company. There are all these great companies that you can use and bolt on and hire them, literally the best in the industry for pennies on the dollar compared to what it would do to bring them in-house. And in-house, like I wasn't doing a great job at it. But what I did do a good job at, I wanted to do more of, and that was talking to buyers and sellers. So, yeah, from the first time to kind of go back, I'm very fascinated with this business. I know a lot of people that use Steve, and a lot of our clients are currently using them to make sure that they're getting the right pictures, the right video, and if they need. And we'll talk more about some of the other stuff that he does. So, highly encourage it. I'm going to drop in the chat here for those of you that are watching in real time. A link where you can just go start to check them out. But let's talk about, so when did you actually start InvestorBootz?
InvestorBootz started 2 years ago, actually this month, March
Mhm.
of 2023.
Yeah.
So we're just wrapping up our 2-year anniversary.
Wow.
And it's really going to be our biggest year yet. There was such exponential growth. We started one-to-one calling people up, investors. If I called 100 people in a day, I was signing up 96 of them for the
Yeah.
service.
Yeah.
In 2024, we went in with influencers and coaches to get access to their communities and provide
Mhm.
the
Yeah.
service. And in 2025, we're going to go towards the data side, getting in with CRMs and listing platforms and
Mhm.
the lead generation companies.
Yeah.
Because as you were just mentioning before this, the technology out there is amazing. It's
Mhm.
incredible. And these investors have access to it at the click of a button. The best CRMs, the best listing platforms, the lead generation companies out
Mhm.
there are insane. And then you throw in the AI on top of it,
Mhm.
and all of these are firing on all cylinders, working
Yeah.
24/7 around the clock. Um, and what people don't realize is no matter what technology you have in place, if you have everything I just mentioned, a combination of it, the bottom line is every single one of your transaction is going to have a physical element of it completed in
Yeah.
order to push it through to the finish line. If
Mhm.
it's photos, a lockbox, a showing, courier service,
Mhm.
letter posting, a wellness check, document
Yeah.
recording,
Right.
there is some physical aspect to all of these transactions that needs to get completed.
Yeah.
And if you're spending all of this money on all of this amazing tech, and then when it comes time to get boots on the ground, your SOP is to go on Google and do a search. It's just pretty crazy. And we can eliminate all of that and we can buy back all of your time by just
Yeah.
streamlining it through our platform.
Yeah. What I love about you guys is, and again, it's so many of our clients use you. We use you when we need to have something done on the transaction side. Is literally, it's a one-stop shop. So, I mean, let's talk a little bit more in depth about that. As an investor, sometimes the seller wants you to post some type of a notice, whether it's an eviction notice or I'm selling the property or a notice of entry, or you have to get documents notarized with the seller. Or, I mean, you said get a lockbox put on, or will you guys change locks if we need to do that?
David, we do all of the above. And you mentioned letter posting. I
Yeah.
mean, if a seller is ghosting you and you can't get a hold of them, our clients utilize that service and they give us the idea.
Yeah.
Hey, this seller's ghosted us. Can you go out with this letter with our contact information on it saying, hey, we haven't been able to get a hold of you. Please
Yeah.
contact here and hand it off to them. If they don't answer, please tape it to the door and give us a photo.
Yeah.
Our clients gave us that idea. And now we're able to provide that service.
Yeah. Love it. So, guys, literally all of the things that you need to do your business. This is the perfect complement to your business. If you are doing virtual wholesaling, and even if you're doing local wholesaling, you may not want to go out and do these things, and that's okay. This is the perfect resource to have somebody else that can do that, so that you can again spend your time doing the parts of your business that really matter and move the needle. Right? We
Yeah.
don't want to take away from signing up our next contract or missing a call from the buyer that is going to to buy our deal because we need to jump in the car and run 2 towns over and post a notice. Like, that's crazy. Don't do that. You're wasting your time is much better spent doing the revenue generating activities.
And we can do that. We love working with the guys that are just in their backyard. The
Yeah.
guys at the 2 hour or 3 hour driving radius that they're willing to travel to go get their own photos.
Hmm.
It's not scalable, and who the heck doesn't want to
No.
scale up? It's like if you're using that as your crutch or excuse, look, I'm
Yeah.
here to tell you the sky's the limit. We can literally help you shatter that geographical limitation, that
Mm.
bottleneck that
Yeah.
all investors face. It's that fear of, look, I'd love to go into this market. It's booming. But how the
Mhm.
heck am I going to get trustworthy and reliable boots on the ground out there that I can
Yeah.
trust to go out and handle these tasks I need? We're able to shatter those geographical limitations.
Yeah.
Do that for investors.
Yeah, guys, you're all built for so much more. We all had great, goals and, New Year's resolutions to grow our business. Do not just be stubborn and be that guy who says, I can do it all myself. That's dumb. You know, Steven and I both work with the top 1% investors in the country, and none of those people are doing their own transactions, and none of them are going out and getting their own photos. Like,
Yeah.
they're not even doing it in house, because there are companies like ours that you could just with the press of a button outsource this stuff and then go back to doing the things in your business that matter. I can't stress that enough. When I was wholesaling just here in Chattanooga, I was capped out. I was really, really good. I'm really good at a wholesaling, but 3 to 5 deals, man, and I was absolutely maxed out. And really, three is pretty solid on a consistent basis. Five is just because a couple happened to roll into that 1 month. But like, I had no time to do anything else. There was no way I would have ever got to 20 deals a month trying to do all that stuff by myself. And way back then, I was hiring people in the office. I was paying someone $35,000, 5 or 6 years ago, and this was 50% of their job. And my God, what InvestorBootz can do, they do it at so much of a higher level with like literally no aggravation. So let me ask you this. I'm gonna put you a little bit to the test. How do you make sure that when you're hiring somebody in Bangor, Maine, to go out and do these things for you, that how can I know that they're well trained and they're going to follow that SOP?
Yeah. So everybody that's in our system undergoes a yearly background check. They're
Mhm.
bonded, they're insured.
Really?
At the end of the day, everybody's rated. Okay. So this is that accountability I was talking about.
Mhm.
So at the end of the order, they're going to get rated. And that rating is going to affect whether or not they ever get business from us again. That's
Mhm.
how we're able to hold them accountable.
Really?
Additionally, on our instructions, they have to sign that they agree to our terms, how we want the photos shot, and they sign to and agree that if there are any mistakes or errors in their assets that they return, they're going
Mhm.
to go back at no charge and get them corrected, or we're going to have
Wow.
to deduct the fee of sending somebody else back out from their pay. So we guarantee our work. We're going to make sure you're happy, or we're going to send somebody back out to go out and get it completed to your liking. But we definitely have some checks and balances in place um, to make sure that you guys are getting back exactly what you need. Now, that being said, look, we're dealing with humans, at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And as bomb proof as our instructions are, what we've been finding lately is we can upload them to a field agent in a certain part of the country. They go out, they get the instructions, they download them, they print them out, they go to the assignment, and they just crush it. The client's so excited. We upload the same instructions to somebody else in another part of the company, and who knows? Demographic, socioeconomic reasons, whatever.
Yeah.
They just interpret it a different way.
Yeah.
But I'm just here to say we're going to guarantee our work, and we're going to make sure we're going to send somebody back until you're happy and you get the assets back exactly how you want.
Nice. I love that. And I think one of the the things that really makes you guys tick the way that you do is you come from that background. So you understand the investor's point of view of how important this stuff is. It's not just, you're not some hedge fund that decided to open up this company and it's just a big money grab. Because we've used you, we can feel that you guys care that the product that we're paying for, gets delivered to us as timely as possible, and that it's good quality work. So I really appreciate that.
Yeah, and look, we understand if we're delivering you the best assets possible, and you're getting higher offers or
Mhm.
higher bids, more offers than you've ever expected.
Yeah.
We're doing our job right, and we know you're going to come back and place more orders. I have a statistic here actually. 83% of our clients will have an increase in order volume by month 3 of using our service.
Mhm.
That's a pretty high percentage. So that shows that once an investor starts using us, they're able to scale faster.
Wow. Yeah, I think that's again incredibly important, and I don't want to keep harping on the same thing, but guys,
Yeah.
it's so important. Before I did easy REI closings, the thing that I taught the most was dispositions, and you've got, our job as wholesalers, right? We're here to help people, but we're presenting a product to our end buyers. So good pictures, good video, plenty, the right number of pictures, every room, the outside the house, all of those things is going to drive up your offers. And if that information is good enough, that's how you get the sight unseen offers, which is the holy grail of all for all wholesalers, right? Is making sure that, at least maybe 20, 25% of 1 in 4 of your deals goes under contract without even having to do another showing. So Steve, let's talk about this a little bit. Like, we're wholesalers, and sometimes these sellers don't always know that it's a wholesale deal. What kind of instructions do you give to your field agents on what they say to the seller or the tenant or whoever's occupying the property?
I wish I had it to pull up right here, but we have a document that they sign for each order too. It's called a non-discussion of document
Hmm.
instruction set that they get. But it goes through what they can and can't say
Hmm.
legally, what we do want them to say, how we want them to represent themselves. But we make sure that they stay in their lane and avoid any interference whatsoever. And this is especially handy on or helpful on the orders where we do a property showing and we
Uh-huh.
want to keep the buyer away from the sellers.
Right.
Excuse me, buyers away from the seller and be the middleman there. But
Mm.
no, we have very specific instructions we send out to make sure that our team stays in their lane and knows their role for these assignments, just to avoid. Again, we understand how delicate these transactions are.
Yeah.
Oftentimes these leads are getting sold to multiple buyers. And
Yeah.
they all have the same goal, and it creates a race. And we want our clients to have that competitive advantage and just make sure we're going out there and helping them push these deals through.
Okay, let me stop you real quick. So you guys can go out and be there for the showing too, not just the pictures and video?
Yeah, we do the full showing because again, having a liaison. Look, if you're a investor in Phoenix, Arizona, with a seller in Tulsa, Oklahoma,
Hmm.
this is something we actually had the other day. One of our clients, he wasn't a client at the time. He got a property under contract, and he sent the guy the purchase contract and the AIF via DocuSign. A couple hours go by, nothing, nothing, nothing. He finally calls the seller and he's like, "Hey, I just want to make sure you got the paperwork. Is there any issue?" And you probably hear this all the time. The seller was elderly and just lost it at the
Yeah.
DocuSign. What is this? Pushing all these buttons.
Dude,
They
I
want me
don't
to
like
verify it."
DocuSign, and I do them 3 times a week. Yeah.
So this seller was livid. He goes, "I found another buyer. They're sending somebody out to my house over the weekend to get the paperwork signed." So this investor starts calling around, and somebody, thank God, told him to call InvestorBootz. We checked the area and we said, "Look, we can have somebody out to the property same day within a couple of hours to not only get the paperwork signed in person, we'll get photos and we'll set up a lockbox for you immediately so you can start doing showings." And he calls the seller back and he says, "Look, I'll have somebody out there in a couple hours." And ended up being 92 minutes from the time the order was placed till we got the
Dude,
asset
that's
back.
incredible.
That was our fastest order. We talked about it at a team meeting. And then we ultimately did the showing for him as well too, when he had his buyers show up. And again, being able to separate your buyers from the seller so they don't talk.
Yeah.
Our field agents know to divert all the questions back to you.
Mhm.
And it's just nice to have a liaison and a middleman there for those showings nationwide.
All right, guys, 92 minutes. 92 minutes from the time they called Steve
That was our record.
to getting somebody out. Yeah, great. To getting somebody out on the doorstep with the contract. And that's how you get these deals done, is by having speed to going out and getting, over that hurdle, whatever it is. So absolutely fantastic. This is why you should be using them, for all of your mobile notary needs and your pictures and your video and all that. So will you use the same person who might go out and do pictures the first time to come back for the showing?
That's a great question. So a lot of our clients will love a notary we get assigned for their signings, or they'll love a field agent we send out for the photos, and they'll send to us, use this one for our photos every time. Send this notary for our documents every time, or they'll say never use this guy again, whatever. We're able to mark them preferred on the back end of their client dashboard, so that we know when an order comes up in that area for that client, this is who we're going to use every time for their orders.
Cool.
So yeah, definitely we can do that.
Yeah, 100%. I always like to do that when we were doing it the hard way, the caveman way, is, we would entice them with, hey, if you take these pictures, we probably will use you again, just because it's somebody that the seller's familiar with. Now they've seen them. So now seeing that same person the second time, if they're there for one or two showings or to let contractors in, that, just makes it just a little bit smoother. Plus it's, it's easy business, because that notary going back, they already know the seller or the tenants, whoever it is. So I think that's absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this. I know that you guys, you say you operate nationwide, but are there any markets where you're not able to go do, photos, video, notary postings, any of those things?
No. So we operate in all 50 states, Puerto Rico, Guam. I've never turned anybody down for business. Now in the super remote areas, we got a document recorded this morning at a county recorder's office, and the population of this town was 40. So of course, for an order like that, it took a couple hours to get it assigned. It takes a little longer. My typical SOP is I want to have somebody assigned within 20 minutes of you placing an order.
Really?
I want to have the appointment confirmed within an hour. For this, it took a couple of hours. We sent somebody in from a neighboring town. They drove a couple hours to get it done for us, but I've never turned anybody down.
Wow, that's absolutely. And you're doing much stuff in Puerto Rico?
It comes up every once in a while, but no, not too much, to be honest with you.
It's a little different doing real estate down there. So
yeah.
So cool. So what are the things that you guys are just the absolute best at? Like what is the stuff that you're just like boom, 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 we're knocking these things out every day?
It's going to be, there's two different types of services we offer. Our in-house services that all of our field agents handle and our notaries handle. Our database is sitting at about 330 to 340,000 across the country where we're able to rely on. So we have
340,000.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
So
okay.
So we're able to provide all of our in-house services very fast, same day. This is going to be your photos, setting up a lockbox, room measurements, 2D floor plans, doing a showing, letter postings, wellness checks, courier service. Oftentimes the seller is going to live a couple hours away, so we send somebody to grab the key, drive it down a couple hours, and put it in the lockbox. Yeah. The document recordings, all of this stuff, we're going to handle in-house. We also offer our professional services. So a client of mine who's a fund has been very gracious and has allowed me access to their database of professional service providers across the country. It's going to be your locksmiths, maid service, clean out service, junk removal, handyman, licensed home inspections. You name it, we do it.
Well, that was going to be my next question: is what do people not realize you do?
Okay. What do people wait? What was it again?
What is it that people don't know you do? Because I know you speak to other people, so I follow you all the time. And I saw some stuff the other day and I was just like, oh God, I never even dreamed that they would be able to do that. So let's do that. Like, let's talk about all of the things that you guys can do for people that they would have no idea. Because you guys used to be known as Notable Notaries and you do so much more than that. So I think changing the name to InvestorBootz was absolutely amazing. So yeah, what are those things that you guys do that I would have no idea?
Yeah, the rebrand really helped us focus in and hone in on the investment industry. Look, it's our clients that truly understand the power of just having boots on the ground nationwide, get the most out of our service. Okay, we set up for a client of ours recently who owned an Airbnb. They shipped batteries, a blanket, and photos to one of our field agents. Here were the instructions: replace the front door batteries, put the photos in the frame, and put the blankets on the couch. So we were able to go out and just do these random tasks that people need, what they would normally spend anywhere from an hour and a half to 2 hours finding somebody and just seeing the whole thing through from start to finish. Um, so it's really just understanding that we're a nationwide resource for boots on the ground. We have our offerings. We also, in our product menu, there's a big, in caps, it says other.
Yeah.
And it's like, send it. Let us know what you need. If we can do it and we're not breaking the law, we're going to make it happen for you.
That was what I saw posted the other day. If it's not breaking the law, we'll do it.
Absolutely. And I stick by that. We're gonna try to make it happen to the best of our ability. Absolutely.
Yeah. So changing
all about,
locks. What about, what about a property that's boarded up?
I mean, it happens every day.
Yeah.
We're able to get somebody on scene immediately to remove the boards. Whether it's a handyman, there was an instance where there was an HOA involved and we had to send a licensed contractor. But this is all stuff we do every day. I mean, Dave, we deal with squatters, we deal with dogs, we deal with meth houses, we deal with boards, angry sellers, happy sellers, old sellers. I mean, you name it.
Yeah.
We're troubleshooting every day to get these orders completed for these investors across the country, again, to just give them back that time. That time is so important so they can handle the critical tasks and they're not glorified babysitters.
Yeah. Guys, this is so important to make sure you're bolting this on to your business. I mean, there's so many things that are going to come up over the process or course of a deal, and you're just not going to be prepared for it. But what we're bringing you today is Steve is the answer. They are that one call solution where you can literally get online and whatever it is that you need done at your property on the other side of the country, they can get it done. If it's something you need, or maybe you've got a seller that's not around, maybe the seller's not close to the property and, you need something delivered to the tenant or post a notice or just anything that's going to needs to be done physically at the property, this is the solution. Guys, these are the industry leaders. There is nobody else doing what they do at this scale and offering the number of options or services that they do. It's absolutely amazing. You said earlier, Steve, you talked about doing 2D video or 2D floor plans. Tell me kind of more about that, and like some of that really obscure stuff that you can do that most people wouldn't think of. But guys, when you have these and you can offer that as part of your dispositions process, it really helps.
Yeah, you nailed it. Look, we're trying to give our clients a competitive advantage at the end of the day. I told you at the beginning of the call, 99% of listings are photos only. When we saw that stat, we knew it was our job to make our clients that 1%. The guys that are adding videos, a walkthrough video, the guys that are adding 2D floor plans. We do something now, we call it our InvestorBootz Insight 360 video. We have our field agent stand in front of the home and take like a 30-second slow 360 surrounding houses in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
So they can see what the neighborhood's like. We want to bombard your buyers with assets so that it's just a no-brainer decision at the end of the day. They can act fast, they can make their decisions confidently, and that way you're also getting higher bids and way more offers than you ever expected just by posting photos.
Yeah, that 360 view outside of the property is so valuable, guys, because again, who knows how up to date Google Street View maps are, right? Like this has happened to us where we've looked, we're like, okay, great. This looks like a good property online. We contract it. We go off of what the seller told us, but then we send our buyers out there and they're like, dude, they're literally selling crack at the house next door, or, the house next door is burned down. I'm not going to pay you full price for this house because of the neighborhood. So having these things, right, not only is it good for your dispositions and your marketing on the sell side of the property, but if you need to go back to the seller and say, hey, Mrs. Smith, remember when we talked about, when we got the contract signed that, hey, if there was anything that came up, that affected the property, I needed to call you back and talk about it. Well, I understand you're in Boston, this property's in Orlando, but here's what the tenants have done. And it's just not exactly what we talked about. Or, there's, whatever, cars on cinder blocks out in front, right? These are the things that now you have something that you can show them to verify, hey, this is why I need to maybe get a price reduction.
Yeah. There's a company out there, I don't know if you know them, I forget the name, but anyway, their new technology is like driving for dollars using Google Street. So they kind of tapped us to, if somebody's interested in the property, to go out and get a real-time drive-by photo of the property. So you do bring up a good point that those are dated, but also I wanted to mention, since I talked about the Insight 360 video that we do, we also have an InvestorBootz property brief. So after all of our appointments are completed, we give our field agents 6 questions to answer so that you guys can get a bigger picture of what's going on with the property. We ask them, was the property easy to access? You know, let us know if there's any issues with locks or gates or getting inside. Did you notice any odors in the property? You know, so many times you guys get just bombarded with smoke, pet odors, stuff like that. We want you guys to be able
Things
to
that don't come through in the photo.
Yeah. We said, did you notice any signs of pests, rodent droppings, termite damage, insect infestations? If so, please specify where. We want them to know. We want to know, were you unable to photograph any rooms, ADUs, or area of the property? We want to be proactive. This way you're not getting back the photos and saying, wait, this is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. Why is there only photos of 2 bedrooms?
Yeah.
You know, so we're going to be proactive and find out if we were denied access to any areas of the home. We asked, were there any signs of past water damage or mold, like stains on the ceilings, bubbling paint, musty smell? Yeah. And then we confirm the number of bedrooms, number of baths, and number of half baths as well. So you guys have that information.
Wow. How many of these do you think you guys have done?
Oh, man. I mean, upwards of, 30,000, over 30,000.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to swear. That's amazing. Guys, this is like us with transactions. Like, we've only done 7,000 transactions. You are never going to find somebody that you can hire in your business or somebody remote that has the experience to know that you need to tell the person to, you know, hey, did anything smell funny? Hey, were the floors crooked? Hey, I couldn't get in. I had to hop the fence, right? Guys, I'm just here to tell you this is an absolute essential for your business to bolt it on. I don't know how many other ways we can talk about this. If you're virtual wholesaling, 100% you need to have their page bookmarked. And if you're here in the chat, I have thrown it in there. I will also put it underneath. And you know, if we throw this up on YouTube, I know we will. We'll make sure we put it up on the screen as well. So, Steve, absolutely amazing, brother. I love what you guys are doing. I can't be a big enough proponent for it, because as somebody who has done this at very large scale without using you, I can see the value all day long, all night, and twice on Sundays of how much easier this makes your life. So I appreciate you jumping on today. What else should somebody know before we jump off here?
Man, what else should somebody know before we jump off here? I'll give you a quick stat here. We always tell people, investors who can act quickly win deals. 90% of our orders are completed within 48 hours.
Nice.
So, yeah, that's pretty important to know.
Guys, again, like, I have horror story after horror story of trying to do this on our own. And, you know, when you get a contract signed with your seller, every one of you, if you're a wholesaler, you should hear in your ear, time is ticking, whatever it's doing. Time is going by very fast. There's only so much time before your contract runs out and you are Cinderella and you turn back into just a plain old girl, right? Yeah. So you need to take action and get somebody out there to get these pictures and photos. Oh, here's a question for you. Do you guys coordinate with the seller or the tenant, or is that something I do?
That's a great question. We have clients that prefer both. Some of our clients want to handle all the appointment setting. Some add the point of contact and just want us to handle it. Again, nice. When you start working with us, you're going to realize right away we want to take as much work off your plate as possible. Right. So if you set the appointment to be determined in the order when you place it, that's going to let my scheduling team know. We're going to get on the phone with your point of contact, and we're going to work out times that are available for them. So again, you're not having to waste time with all of these time-sucking administrative tasks. You can place the order in about 3 to 4 minutes and get on with the critical stuff.
Guys,
your choice.
Absolutely amazing, dude. I love everything that you're doing. I think it's crucial for our industry, and you know, I can see why you guys have had that astronomical growth over the last couple of years, because you're literally providing a service that every single person needs, and moving us forward with integrity and just a great product. So I just appreciate everything you're doing.
Hey man, I mean, right back to you. Our clients that use Easy REI. I mean, these are the ones that aren't getting their documents rejected. These are the guys having paperwork issues. So it's just such a cool synergy to be able to work with you and your team and just see the passion you guys have behind the work you do. these are the collaborations I love. So I'm just truly grateful for you allowing me to be here today and introduce myself to your community.
Awesome. Guys, click the link, go over there, give them a try, let them do your next, property, the pictures, the photo, the postings, whatever it is. If you have something else that you need, they've got a spot where you can put that on there and, see if they can do it. Like you said, if it's legal, they will get it done. So, they're not robbing any banks for you, but they will get your pictures, they will get your videos, they will get your documents. And, that's all we're all looking for, is to scale our business and do it with as least a little bit of aggravation as possible and disruption to our day. So, Steve, man, thank you so much for popping on. I do appreciate it. Again, I cannot speak highly enough about you guys.
Dude, thank you, David. I appreciate it.
All right.